they see how she's physically attractive, and they may start looking at themselves and seeing what they lack. So they start feeling bad about themselves a little bit, but they're not necessarily going to act on that for right now, because it's like, okay, I may not have, her hair, her eyes, or whatever, her body, I may not have that, but they may still feel good about themselves. But then it's even worse when you have to add male attention. You already feel bad when you're around this person, and then everybody else, all the guys around you, are reinforcing that, yeah, she's better than you. And even though that other girl may not necessarily be unattractive, she may actually just be an average good looking girl, but next to this more attractive looking girl, and the attention that she's getting for her physical attractiveness, now the other girl is feeling even more sad because no one is looking at her, no one is talking to her, everyone is ignoring her, and everybody's basically gravitating towards this girl. It's a negative feedback loop. It's a negative feedback loop where the insecurities are reassured by external factors of male attention.
Hello and welcome to Kitchen Table Advice. My name is Paula and I am the host of this podcast. This podcast is a place where you can ask for any advice you want. It can be relationship, both platonic or romantic, career advice, or life advice. I wanted to create a space where people could ask questions without fear of rejection. I can't guarantee it will be good advice, but I can guarantee there will be no shame on my end. Your name will be anonymous and your identity will always be kept a secret. This is not professional advice, and I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist, and you are under no obligation to take this advice. Just think of this as advice you would get from a close friend on a kitchen table. So, let's begin.
Hello, listeners, we are back, and as usual, we'll just jump into the first story of the episode. The title of the first story is, does intimacy before official commitment really ruin the prospect of a serious relationship? So here we go. I'm a 27-year-old woman inquiring about a complicated situation with a 27-year-old man. So I'm seeing this guy in real life in 3D after a year of friendship. It's been about 3 months since we've confessed we're very attracted to one another and we feel emotionally connected. Since then, we've started to regularly spend online time together, doing stuff like playing cards, chatting, and now he also wants to watch a series with me. We've also had phone stuff, and it was amazing every single time. We always have deep conversations and seem to be really compatible. And over the year, we've become really close, and we share many different things. I feel very comfortable with him, but since we've started to be more than friends, I become quite anxious and reluctant to share as I did before. Now the problem is we're going to see each other soon in March and spend several days together. He's very excited and explaining dates for us, stuff to do, etc. We're also going to be intimate and are both looking forward to it. Since we live in different countries, we've discussed the possibility of dating each other and realizing none of us wants a long distance relationship, but decided we'll go with the flow and see where things goes. Now I really want to be intimate with him, and he does as well, and I really care about him, and I'm open to have a relationship too. But many people have told me that if I am intimate with him when we see each other, this will ruin the prospect for anything more in the future. I am so confused by this because I really want to be intimate. Why do I have to withhold it or force myself to deny it or play some games? I know that in my case, having intimacy with him won't deter me from considering a romantic relationship. I know he's a man, and men are different, but at the same time, this doesn't sit well with me. It makes me incredibly anxious. Can't I just do what I feel without fearing it will ruin everything? Oh. Okay, BTW, he's on the autism spectrum and we both have ADHD. Okay, that is very interesting. We'll be back with our advice after this break. See you back. We are back and we are live. We are back and we are live. We are back and we're back. This is a very interesting it's a very interesting story, and I mean, honestly, what would my advice be? My advice is always if you're comfortable doing something, just do it. It's like, if you've been here for a minute, you will know my advice is whenever you're comfortable doing something, do it. However, I do understand where how some people may say being intimate early on in a relationship might result in that relationship not progressing, but I think this is different from this relationship. So she's been talking to this guy for a year. They've already developed a friendship. They have a strong bond. They have deep conversations, and they're compatible from her side of stuff. I don't think being intimate, I mean, you guys have already been friends for a year. Yes, you live in completely different countries and you haven't met in real life before, and you're about to meet in real life in March, but he already knows stuff about you. He already knows the type of person you are. You know stuff about him. You guys already have a shared interest. You guys already have a friendship. So I don't really think, if you want to be intimate, be intimate. I understand where your friends or maybe your family may come from, where they say being intimate is going to hinder the prospect of a serious relationship, but usually that happens when you lead with the physical, not when after you've already developed a bond, after you've already developed a friendship. I don't think anyone really cares at this point, and I think you have nothing to worry about. I mean, I understand where there might be some reservations, but as you've already said, you have a bond with this person. You know this person. You share similar interests. You guys have deep conversations, and you're really compatible. And this has been over the course of a year. Yes, it's happened online, but you know each other already. You know each other, and he's your friend. So I really don't understand where the family is coming from. Girl, just be intimate, okay? My advice for this person is, if you want to be intimate, be intimate. But the point of your friends and family, I'm pretty sure they're seeing it as, oh, since you guys have not met physically, it means they may not know. What am I trying to say? I think your friends and family gave the advice based on you guys not really knowing each other. They may not know the depth of your conversation or how close you guys are online, which is why they probably gave you that advice of, oh, if you lead with the physical, it may not result in a serious relationship because that's what you're leading with. The advice does hold some weight, because most people who tend to lead with a physical, like for example, one night stands, casual hookups, where you are going there to get your needs met physically and get out, those tend to not lead to serious relationships. And if you want to be in a serious committed relationship, it's like, it's already difficult enough as it is, and then we have all these other hoops we have to jump through, because some people mean, it's just, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? I'm so sorry. I lost my train of thought. But what I was basically saying is, like, the first time you meet someone, you lead with the physical, you lead with your body, or you lead with whichever one, okay? It may not result in a serious relationship because you haven't really showcase anything else. This does not mean that if you lead with the physical, you are doomed to never be in a serious relationship. It just means overall, the success rate has not really been that high when you just lead with the physical. You can probably lead with the physical and something else. I don't want to deter you guys from doing stuff that you enjoy and truly exploring what you like and what you don't like about a person. If you want to have a year or semester or whatever of just casual hookups, go ahead and do that. If that's gonna help you find yourself and find out the person who you truly are, you're not gonna get a no from me. Okay, it's like, I think we should let young people, and especially young women, just Go explore the world and see what the world has to offer instead of trying to fit them into these boxes. One, does not serve them, and two, does not even serve our society in the long run. Because there's so many women right now who are fed up, angry. We are on a rise of all these diseases, all these what is it called, body dysmorphias, eating disorders, and most of these stuff plague women, and it's just so freaking disheartening, and it's just sad to hear about it. I always advocate for you guys to like just explore the world, see what it has to offer, see what it has to offer, figure out what you like, figure out what you dislike, and just go along with it. This life is too short for you to be pleasing other people. Unfortunately, this life is too dang hard and too short for you to be pleasing other people. By the time you get to a certain age, you realize how long you have wasted just trying to please other people, trying to fit into their idea of what you should be. And in the long run, you're unsatisfied. You're not fulfilled. You're not really the person you were meant to be. And it's so disheartening, and it's so sad that we just keep pushing women into these boxes that it was never meant to help them. The sad part is it was never meant to help them, but we preach it as if this is how you're going to be successful, when it's not. It's literally a shackle, and it needs to stop. But anyway, small tangent. I think that's kind of where the advice from her friends and family may have stemmed from. But honestly, it's just like, girl, if you want to be intimate on the first day or the second day or the third day, whatever, be intimate. If you want to be intimate a year in after a relationship, be intimate then. Don't let other people pressure you and make you do something you don't want to do. That is, my advice here is just don't try to live your life for others, because it's never going to be enough. It is never going to be enough. There's always going to be something they're going to call you out, or you haven't done this the way I wanted it to be done. You haven't done that the way I wanted it to be done. That's why it's just better to just live for yourself. Do what you like, do what you dislike. And if you don't know what it is, then just try different stuff. And eventually you're going to find out what you like and what you don't like. It's unfortunate that in our society, the girl that participates in one-night stands or participates in casual hookup is not seen as serious just because she is leading with her body. So it is something that I want you guys to keep in mind. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying this is how it is seen at this point in time. It does not mean it's going to be seen like this forever. But if you do tend to lead with your body, the likelihood of you being in a serious, fulfilling relationship, unfortunately, it's very slim. And sometimes even when you don't lead with your body and you try to reserve, you try to hold off, you may still not end up in a serious relationship. Relationships suck. Right now, relationships suck, okay? So it's kind of one of those, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you're not. So guess what? That's what my advice is. Do what you want. If you want to engage like that with someone during the first encounter, do it. If you want to engage like that in a month, do it. But just remember to always have your negotiables and non-negotiables. And just because you have engaged with that person intimately the first time, it does not mean they just get to come knock on your door and you're at the service. No. And just because you have engaged intimately with someone as soon as you met them, it does not mean that is what your relationship has to be. It doesn't mean that you're readily available whenever they feel like they want a body, okay? No, it's on your time and your terms. If you want to engage in those ways, just make sure it is on your time and your terms, not for you to please someone else, but for you to please yourself. And if that other person, whether they're a man or a woman, they're not fulfilling you physically, honestly, just walk out. I've heard some crazy stuff of girls staying with people. I'm not even going to say the gender. People who are not fulfilling them physically, but they just stay just because. And this is in a situationship, not even an actual relationship. Crazy. I know, but I can also understand why they would do that, because of how we basically socialize our girls to be doormats and subservient and always serve others and put themselves last. So I get it. It's very disheartening. It's very unfortunate, but I get it. Which is why I'm telling you guys, don't do it. It's a trap. Honestly, it's a trap. Don't do it. I was just talking and just saying a bunch of stuff, and I really do hope that if you're listening to this, you were able to get something from it, because I don't know. And I can't really speak on the autism and the ADHD spectrum. The autism spectrum and the ADHD thing. So if you guys have been in a relationship with someone who is on the autism spectrum or has ADHD, then please let me know. I don't know how those relationships pan out. That's not really something I've experienced, because I don't have those, and I don't really think I've talked to my friends with some of those. So that's like uncharted territory for me. And I'll be happy if you guys can educate me on how it is to date and to be in a serious relationship when you have those things. All right, so that is it for this story, and we're just going to jump into the second story of the episode. The title is, How Can I Deal with My Boyfriend's Family? So here we go. 22-year-old woman, and my boyfriend is a 22-year-old man, and I can't stand his family. I just don't know how to talk to some of them. My social battery gets too low so quickly, and I really feel like no one understands, and always I'm kind of excluded by them because of my soft, quiet personality. Meanwhile, my boyfriend is charming and the coolest person, and everyone, everyone, find him really likable and easy to talk to. And I feel sometimes that we are not that compatible. He's like the golden retriever, and I'm like a black grumpy cat. LMAO. Yeah. When we are alone, we laugh a lot. When we are alone, we laugh a lot. We love each other, but I don't know. I keep comparing myself with him, and especially his family with mine, and I don't want that. Like, maybe he needs someone similar to him. His life has been really easy. He has his life more resolved. Money, a big family, friends, and hobbies. Meanwhile, I'm here with a weird, difficult family, almost no friends, and feeling alone. Sometimes I feel like he's too good for me, and I don't even have a great relationship with his family. Why is that? It's obvious that his little sister doesn't like me, and she isn't interested in me, but she is interested in her brother's girlfriend. Okay, maybe other brothers? And his brother is an a-hole who never talks to me, just talks about himself. And his father never talks to me. But instead, the girlfriend's brother has a bubbly, nice personality and talks to everyone, and everyone loves her. And don't mind me, I'm not jealous. I kind of admire her. I even like her. Why can't I be more social, more sweet, or positive? And I hate this because he gets along with my family so well. Him and my sister have an amazing relationship. Talk and laugh and ask things about each other's life. Same with my mom and dad. I wish my relationship with his family were the same. I wish they were that interested in my life. Since day one, they've showed almost no interest. I take everything too personal. If someone is a little bit dry with me, I feel like they hate me. Parentheses, especially my boyfriend's family. I'm an introvert who used to be an extrovert, but society, or maybe my own insecurities, built me like an introvert. Wow. We'll be back with our advice after this break. We are back. Okay. My advice is, it's a simple advice, but it's not going to be easy. Stop comparing your family to your boyfriend's family. That's it. That is all. I know we tend to be a bit harsher on ourselves and our families and think other people's families are better because they have XYZ or 1, 2, 3, but you don't really know. you don't really know the depth of what's going wrong with that family. And to be fair, from what you have said, it doesn't seem like his family is all that great. I know you said they're great, they're a big family, they have money and hobbies and yada yada yada, but like you mentioned, his brother never talks to you and he only talks about himself. The sister hates you and she only talks to the other brother's girlfriend and not you. And the father doesn't talk to you as well. That doesn't sound like a friendly family. No offense, girl, that doesn't sound like a friendly family. I'm glad your boyfriend is a good person. At least he talks to your family. He talks to your sister, your mother, your father, and everyone likes him. That's great. That's fine. And if it's that disturbing for you, ask him. Ask him, and you might be surprised. Because sometimes we may see other people's family as, oh my gosh, they're so perfect, they're so great. And you being around them may kind of make you feel lesser than, like your family's not as great or not as perfect. And then you start to doubt, why is this person in a relationship with me? Why, or even why they in a friendship with me? But sometimes it's good to ask that person, like, why me? Like, why do you want to be my friend? We're complete opposites. And you'll be surprised by what they say. What you may see as a good thing, they probably don't even like that thing. And this is an example some of my friends told me. And she was in, what was she? She really loved this girl because she grew up in a rowdy family, like your boyfriend family. It's kind of like a big family. They laugh, they do all this stuff. And she was friends with this girl for a really long time because they had a quiet family. She wanted that quiet, that peace. She didn't want the rowdiness of her brothers just jumping around doing all this stuff. Whereas her friend, who grew up in a more quiet family, appreciated that for the rowdiness, for the freedom, that she could just scream and it's not going to seem as if it's a disturbance because in her family people are quiet. So you might actually be surprised. What you may not appreciate in your own family, your boyfriend probably appreciates, and what you may not appreciate about yourself, your boyfriend may actually appreciate. He may actually appreciate your introverted nature. He may actually appreciate the deep conversations you guys have together, because you said in the story, what did she say? Say in the story, when you guys are alone, you laugh. He likes your company, girl. Don't worry about it. I mean, I understand to a degree because I know we are sometimes our worst critics, and we think people are criticizing us in their heads just as much as we're criticizing ourselves, when they might actually be admiring you in their head. Just like you admire the other brother's girlfriend for being extroverted, having conversations with everyone, there's also an admirable trait about yourself. And it does take time to figure out, I'm actually good at this, and be comfortable in that trait. So that's okay, that's all right. Which is why, since your boyfriend seemed to be open, he seems to be extroverted, and seems to be understanding, usually just ask him. Extroverted people don't really mind being asked these type of questions. Introverts, when you ask them these questions, they're kind of like the one, I don't want to. Okay, this is a big generalization, but usually most of the time when I've heard these type of questions, like when you ask an extrovert person, they will just tell you straight up, and you'll be surprised that it's actually something that you yourself may not appreciate about you, but that's why they appreciate that about you, and they appreciate that they're able to be this kind of person in front of you. Anyways, small tangent. Oh my gosh, I've been going on tangents so far so long. But yeah, ask your boyfriend, why did he want to be in a relationship with you other than you're cute and you have a dope personality, okay? Because he should definitely say that. I'm just saying, he should definitely say that. But yeah, so ask him. I mean, don't put him on the spot in a way, but if you are comfortable with him, let me actually backtrack on that advice, because that can turn, depending on the maturity level and depending on what type of person it is, that might turn south. But if your partner is genuinely a good person that gets along with you and gets along with most people and truly wants the best for you and wants you to succeed and wants you to be happy, that's when I think you can ask those type of vulnerable questions. Because sometimes it's just like, I wouldn't suggest you guys be vulnerable with someone who's an abuser, because they would take that vulnerability and try to turn it into something it was never meant to be. So yeah, that's why I said that. But it may not be what's going on in this situation. But yeah, if you ever wonder why a certain type of person that you may deem too good to be around you likes your company, and you think they're a good person, they have a good heart, and they really love you and want the best for you, don't be afraid to ask, and you'll be surprised what the answer is. You'll be surprised by you'll be surprised by what the answer is, because most of the times they're always going to choose the traits that you yourself may not seem beneficial, but they see the beauty and benefit in it. And that can be a small little, self-esteem boost. I would actually suggest she asks her boyfriend if he's the type of boyfriend who is nice, kind, mature, and really wants the best for his girlfriend. I don't see why she can't. But if you are with an abuser, I would recommend maybe you not ask them, because, if you're with an abuser, honestly, you shouldn't be in that relationship. But if you're finding the strength to leave, or finding the strength to do whatever you need to do before you can leave that situation, I think it's best for you to not ask if that's the case. But yeah. Alright, so that is it for the second story, and I'm just gonna check how long we've been recording. It hasn't been that long, but it's in a weird time. Let me see, maybe we're going to do a third story today. Maybe this would be a 3-story part thing. I don't know if I should give my advice on this story, but it does seem interesting. Alright, let me see where this goes. You hear what I mean by that, because the title of this story is, how do I deal with the possible jealousy from other women? Okay, so let's just dive in and see what happens. I am a 21-year-old woman, and I honestly feel like I am a target of jealousy from other women. Despite how friendly I am, they always seem to backstab me and secretly wish bad on me. I try to be humble about the fact that I am attractive and receive male attention, but it always makes me afraid to even start a friendship with certain women because of the hidden jealousy it seems they have. Like, what else could possibly be the reason for this besides jealousy? Do women just think being mean to other girls somehow covers up their own deep hidden insecurities? Honestly, some do. Many of my friendships with other girls throughout life have ended badly. It's very difficult for me to make friends with them. I get accused of stealing their boyfriends, trying to steal all the male attention, wearing too much makeup, dressing too revealing, looking plastic, being a homewrecker, etc. And in the past, during these friendships, they will always say how pretty I am and that they're jealous of me. They also use me for certain things, but once we fall out or argue, that's when they say all of these sudden insults toward me. Women around my age make ignorant comments on my body and appearance all the time, and shame me for unwanted male attention I receive. I'm just a dumb blonde to them. Also been assaulted by girls throughout my life, and I've been bullied in school. The one time was because she was calling me a quote-unquote plastic Barbie during school, and I defended myself. Then she attempted to punch me. And another girl attacked me because she thought I stole her boyfriend. Had another one spray paint my parents' shed with the words "You're a SNFU." I went to cyber school after that. What's cyber school? I went to cyber school after that, but the bullying followed me online. and so many other random women on social media shame my looks and want to fight me in person for no reason. Wow. We are going yeah. Um Dang it, I've already used both of my breaks. I need a break to digest the story. All right. Um this is very unfortunate. And I don't even know. It's like I think most people have been what is it called? Bullied in their life. I think that is safe to say. And it's very unfortunate when stuff like this happen. And women, some women, not all, but some will try to bully someone because of their own hidden insecurities. To be quite honest, it has nothing to do with you. Like I said before, sometimes when someone rejects you, this is extreme rejection to the point where they literally want to punch her. That is completely unacceptable. I do not condone violence. Listen, I don't condone physical violence, okay? Unless you're provoked, then I'm like, listen, you asked for it, I can retaliate. But I do not condone violence unless provoked. Like I said, some women can be mean to other women because of their own deep insecurities. And it stems from this, what was the quote? I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but like, whenever you're in love, for people who've been in love, please let me know in the comment section. But whenever you're in love, you feel butterflies around that person. You feel happy. The world is clearer. Everything is like amazing and great. When you're around that person, it stems from this thing. It's like, love, as much as we would like to think that love is a completely selfless feeling, it's not. I kind of realized it a little while after reading this book, and it was just like, love is not as selfless as we would like to believe. Because whenever we're in love, it's like whenever we're around the person that makes us feel all this different way, we want to be around them because they make us feel something, make us feel good about ourselves. They make us feel something, and basically it stems from this whole thing that.
Hello, listeners. I am so sorry about that. I completely botched the quote, but the quote is basically, this is basically the quote that most people fall in love not because of who the person is, or not even because of the feeling, but because of who they are around that person. So it's kind of like this. For example, a girl might say she loves this guy or a certain guy because she feels like she is her authentic self around him. So it's not really because of the guy, but because she loves being her authentic self. So ergo, she's projecting love on this guy. The same thing for another example would be a girl who loves being around men who are funny. She loves being joyful. She loves being happy. So guess what? She's now going to be around a partner who makes her laugh because she loves being a happy, joyful person. And when I learned this just kind of put two and two together as to why some people may gravitate towards another person. For example, how some people will only date a certain type of person, either it's because of money or because of looks, not because of who that person is. And it might even have nothing to do with the status, but a big chunk of it has to do with who they are around that person. For example, and just picture this, an average Joe with a model. Why would he go for a model? Because of who he is or who he thinks the world is seeing him, or how he's projecting himself to be. Oh, I was able to get a girl of this caliber. And it even has nothing to do with a model or how great or how beautiful she looks, but it has everything to do with his own ego as to who he is around her, not even because of her beauty. And it's so insane, but it makes sense. Oh my gosh. And I feel like we kind of knew it And most people know this, but it's just like, I don't think we really know how deep this can be, because they also kind of talked of the reason why I said even this can also attribute to motherhood is because, let's say, a woman who's always wanted a child, and now she gets that child. She loves the fact that she can be called a mother right now. She loves that title of mother. She loves she loves the fact that she can now pour into this child and give this child every single thing it needs. So she loves who she is. She loves being the giver. She loves being the nurturer. I'm not saying she loves that more than the child, but that does play a big factor into why she loves this child. And it's so crazy and so insane how we can be so selfish, yet it's, I don't know, it's also insane. And another point, and I think this is actually a really big topic as to and I think this is actually a really big one, because another example still in the motherhood thing was maybe a woman who lacks power, or who feels as though she doesn't have any power, she doesn't have any say in society, will now become a mother, and she loves the fact that she is more powerful than the baby. And it's so insane. And it's like, I think this is kind of where some mothers can kind of delve into abusive situation as to how they can kind of be quote unquote power hungry with their kids under the guise of discipline. And it's such a wild topic. And I just learned this. So it's still fresh. It's still new. That's why I wasn't able to cohesively put my thoughts together. But basically, that's what the quote was saying. That love might actually have nothing to do with the other person, but just how we view ourselves next to them. We view that we are more free, or we can be our authentic self, or we view as if we are a more enjoyable person to be around. For the motherhood thing, a more powerful person, or for the other mother thing, it will be like we view ourselves as a nurturer, and we like seeing ourselves in this light, which is why we love them. It's so crazy. It's so insane. And I really hope this makes sense. And what I was basically trying to say is that on the flip coin of that, those girls hate her, and they keep being, they hate her, and they keep throwing all these slurs to her because they don't like who they are around her. They don't like that feeling of inadequacy. They don't like feeling as if they're not enough. So instead, it really has nothing to do with her. At the end of the day, it has nothing to do with her, and it has everything to do with them, which is basically what I was saying. But I was saying that it's all about the perception of the person in that situation, and not the girl actually being a bad person, but just that the other girls, the girls who are bullying her, they don't like who they are next to her. So now they're going to try to put her down. So now they're going to try to be mean to her. So now they're going to try to belittle her and make her feel the way they feel just standing next to her without her even doing anything, because she's not doing anything. But yeah, I hope this makes sense. I hope you guys can get it. Please leave in the comment section. I am so sorry. I completely botched the code, but please bear with me. This is a new topic for me, and I really hope you guys are able to understand what I'm trying to say. Anyways, back to the video.
Of the feeling of happiness and joy you have when you're around someone you love, that feeling that they give you of positive happiness and joy, these girls have an opposite feeling. They have a feeling of inadequacy when they're around you, even though you're not doing anything. You're just there existing, but for some reason they hate you, and you can't help that. Unfortunately, that is something you can't not help at all. And I think I venture to say, I don't know the psychology in this, but I venture to say this is actually where frenemies stem from. Because they like these traits about you. They appreciate these traits about you. When these girls are around her, they start feeling they see how she's physically attractive, and they may start looking at themselves and seeing what they lack. So they start feeling bad about themselves a little bit. But they're not necessarily going to act on that for right now, because it's like, okay, I may not have, her hair, her eyes, or whatever, her body. I may not have that, but they may still feel good about themselves. But then what's it called? It gets even worse when you have to add male attention. You already feel bad when you're around this person. And then everybody else, all the guys around you are reinforcing that, yeah, she's better than you. And even though, what's it called? Even though that other girl may not necessarily be unattractive, she may actually just be an average, good looking girl. But next to this, I guess, more attractive looking girl, she and the attention that she's getting for her physical attractiveness, now the other girl is feeling even more sad because she's not, no one is looking at her, no one is talking to her, everyone is ignoring her, and everybody's basically gravitating this towards this girl. It's basically, it's a negative feedback loop. It's a negative feedback loop where the insecurities are reassured by external factors of male attention. And now instead of actually looking inward and finding out what makes me unique, what makes me attractive, what makes me a well-rounded, beautiful person, they take it out on you. Because it's just like, it's easier to take it out on the person next to me than to actually look inward to see how can I cherish myself for who I am and really see myself for who I am. This makes so much sense because as women, I think we've all gone through this phase in a while. Even if you may not be the most attractive girl, but there's like a time when you got all the attention and for some reasons your friends were mad. And you wonder why. Like, why are you mad? Why are you upset? And then when I read this book, I was just like, this makes so much sense. Anyways, back to being regular. But yeah, I think that's what it stems from. It's the opposite side of the coin of when you're in love. It's just like when you're around the person you love being around them because of that feeling you get, that joy that you get. Even just finding stuff about that person, you're like, oh my gosh, I found this. He likes this thing. I like this thing too. And you just feel as if there's a closer bond there. This is just the other side of, oh, this girl is attractive, and because she is attractive, even though I myself am attractive and she's getting all this attention, I feel inadequate when I'm around her. And I keep saying I feel inadequate when I'm around her because that's it. That is the gist of it. They feel inadequate when they are around you, and it is not something you can help. The best thing you can do in these situations, go find another friend group. Don't even try to make it work. It's not gonna work. Because they're gonna be catty. They're gonna try in the beginning. They're gonna be catty. They're gonna try to pretend as if they're your friend. They have your best interest at heart because maybe you can get them in clubs because of your physical attractiveness, or it's like a weird trickle down effect that some women have in their heads. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It really depends. They feel as though you're 21, so let's say you guys go to a club. The bouncer's gonna let you and your girls in, or they'll get into the VIP section because of your looks, or because they might get these gifts or these offers because of you. But then simultaneously, they don't really like you. They don't really like you because of how they feel when they're around you, even though they'll acknowledge you are a beautiful woman. Sometimes they're not even going to tell it to your face. They'll try to put you down. They'll try to belittle you. They'll try to make you feel lesser than, kind of as a way of equaling, like balancing the power. It's a weird thing. Listen, it's so weird, but it somewhat makes sense, but it's so weird. It's like, if this girl is better at me physically, she's physically more attractive than me, then I'm gonna try to make her look dumb to kind of like balance the power out. And it's like, it's the weirdest thing, but it happens, and it's in books. How the heck do we not know this? I think we do, but it's just, there's so much freaking information out there. Trying to weed through the grasses, trying to weed through stuff can be very difficult. But yeah, and sometimes stuff like that will happen, and then you wonder why. You're like, you guys are my friends, and I thought you really had my best interest at heart, but they don't. They are selfish, and they're only out for themselves. So if you ever find yourself in a similar situation as this, where some women are jealous of you because either physical attributes, or it can even be intelligence, or whatever it is, it's best for you to just find another group of women. And it's not all women. It's not all women, unfortunately, but it does happen a lot. And most of the time, it is because of deep, hidden insecurities. That's it. That is all. And it's really not, it's because of deep, hidden insecurities. So when I tell you to find another group of women, guess what? Find another group of women who are maybe more mature and are able to be self-aware enough to be like, okay, this is stemming from insecurities, or women who are currently doing the work or going to therapy, trying to better themselves, or women who just lack insecurities. I dare say it, there are a couple of women out here in the world who do not have any insecurities whatsoever. The number is very slim though. It's like 0.01%, but it's there. It happens. Those women are very rare, but they're just happy with who they are, what they have to offer. They know if something is not working for them, it's not meant for them. They're not even sweating about it because they know where their power lies, and they are not going to down themselves or minimize themselves for someone else. Which is why I tell you guys, just do what you love. Doing what you love, going towards what you love, and going through the motions, doing what you love, going towards what you love, and finding your own unique talent really is the way to, I'm not going to say not have insecurities, but minimize them. At least, don't shed light on them. They may be there, but so what? You also have these amazing qualities that make you so more rounded person. So instead of it's kind of like shifting the focus away from your insecurities to your talents. It's a wonderful feeling, by the way. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that people have to go through this, but it is something that happens. It happens a lot. You're not alone. And the way to combat this is find another friend group. Find another friend group who aren't so insecure about the way they appear, or even if they appear a certain type of way, they know their power lies somewhere else. So she'll let you get the shine physically because she knows. I don't know. But yeah, find another friend group who aren't so insecure about the way they appear, and who know, and women who are confident in their own power and what they have to bring to the table. Most of the times, these women are not very confident in their vital insecurities. And another caveat, they are in their 20s. What do I tell you guys? Your 20s are your years of exploration. Listen, if you're insecure in your 20s, you're not alone. A lot of us has been there, done that. Figure out what we like, figure out what we dislike, went towards our like, know where our power lies, and boom. So it's okay if you're insecure in your 20s. Literally, everyone is. Everyone is in their 20s. Even though I said there's a certain rare group of women who are not insecure, most of them are not in their 20s. So, yeah. But yeah, so your 20s are years of exploration, as I tell you guys over and over again. So just find yourself. Figure out what type of person you are, and figure out what type of person you want to be, and just go toward that, and you'll be fine. You'll be all right. And if you're in a similar situation as this woman, where you feel as though women are just hating on you for you existing, they just hate on you, again, it has everything to do with them. It has nothing to do with you. You did nothing wrong. You have done nothing wrong. You are just existing, and they hate you for that. And it has everything to do with your insecurities, and it has everything to do with like how I explained, how they feel in your presence. It may be a feeling of inadequacy, or a feeling of unattractiveness, feeling of whatever. It's usually a negative feeling, and instead of seeing where that stems from, it's just easier to project on the next person and try to make you seem as if you're lesser than, kind of to like knock you down a peg, as some people may say, or humble you. But it's a thing. It happens. It's weird, but it's one of those stuff that happens in life, which is why I just advise you to go to another group of women. There are some women out there who will accept you for who you are. Beautiful face and all. I know it can be kind of daunting for really attractive women, because it seems as though they're always pitted against other women, even though they may have other women's best intentions at heart. But it's just like patriarchy is always going to pit women against women, and we just need to learn where our power lies, and that is how we get power. We take our power back by learning where our power lies, and be like, yeah, I may not be the most attractive person, but guess what? I'm good at XYZ, or I'm good at 1, 2, 3. So what you got? And usually when you go at them like that, they have nothing to say. So yeah. Anyway, that is it for this episode. It has been way too dang long. I thought this third story would have been short, but it really took a while. All right. So that is it. And I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode. And what did you guys think? This was a very interesting episode, and I got to reveal a lot. But yeah, so what did you guys think? What did you guys think about? Do you think she should wait? Because I think the relationship has kind of already started. Yes, it developed online, but I do see it as a relationship, and I don't think being intimate is going to hinder the progress of that relationship, considering the fact they already know each other. But that's just my opinion. And even if you don't know each other and you want to be intimate in the first encounter, who the heck cares? All right. You also need to keep in mind that there are some people who would not see you as a committed person because you are doing that. And again, that has everything to do with them. It has nothing to do with you. And the second story about the girl is just, I don't really think she has a lot to worry about. I think she just, if her boyfriend is as nice of a person that he is, and she really does trust him, which you should trust your partner, okay? I think that is a very important thing in a relationship. You should definitely trust your partner. So if he is that nice of a person and she does trust him, I think she could ask him why, what about her made him attracted to her, other than her obvious good looks and kind personality, because those are defaults, right? But other than that, like, what else? I think that's the easy question, and I know how people can feel kind of triggered and they may not want to ask that question, but most of the time you might be surprised by other people's answer, and sometimes it might be what you don't like about yourself that they actually really appreciate about you. I've heard it a lot, which is why I feel like she can ask them. And the third story, it was way too long, but yeah, that story was a doozy, and I strongly stand by my advice, and I do think that the hatred she's getting from other women does stem from that lack of self-esteem. It does stem from that lack of being seen as valuable. It does stem from that, and it has nothing to do with her. Like I said in the story, it has nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with how the women are seeing themselves around her when they're with her. It has everything to do with who they are in her presence. It actually has nothing to do with her or her actions or anything she's doing. It has everything to do with who they are in her presence. And unfortunately for them, in her presence, they see themselves as not valuable, themselves as lesser than. But yeah, it is unfortunate, but it is something that happens a lot, and I hope I was able to provide some ounce of clarification, because this is a big topic, and I think it's something that should be talked about. It is a big topic, and it does plague a lot of young girls and young women, and also older women, because this kind of behavior, unfortunately, doesn't end. That is unfortunate, but it's a thing. It happens. But yeah, and that was that. Please let us know in the comment section how you felt about this episode, and if you got it, please, if you really took something away from it, please do let us know. It does help us crank these stuff out, and because we want to provide to you guys advice that you're actually going to take away, that you're actually going to implement in your life, that is actually going to be beneficial. We don't just want to be here and just talk. There are a lot of people on the internet that are just talking and saying a bunch of nonsense. So if you do resonate with this message, and if you are taking something away from it, please feel free to let us know. If it's on YouTube, then leave us a comment. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then please feel free to leave us a comment. We really like reading that. And next week is very interesting. The first story is from a 23-year-old woman who needs to set up boundaries with one of her male classmates. The second is from a woman who doesn't really feel comfortable with a certain friend joining her friend circle because of how she behaves when she's intoxicated. I'm pretty sure we've had that one friend. And the third story is from a girl who doesn't know if she's leading one of her male friends on due to him not getting the hint that she's not interested in a romantic relationship. All right, if any one of those stories appeal to you, then please come back here next Sunday. And another thing, we get our stories on our Gmail account, which is kitchentableadvice@gmail.com. So if you want your story to be featured on our next episode, then please feel free to send us a quick email and your story will be featured. All stories are anonymous. No one is ever going to know who you are. And even if you write a name in there, I'm just going to abbreviate to a letter like I did. All right, so that is it for this episode, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye.